Evara's question is how to tune the frequency of the sixth sense according to Kabbalah. In order to tune that desire of yours, it's a really good question because it's practical, right? Okay, so you heard that there is this emergent state, according to Kabbalah, this reality, this sixth sense that can seemingly bring you to sense a new reality, and you're asking how to do it. So let's say this is you, right? Or this is every human being. It's a black box, and this black box has 5 openings. So these openings are the 5 senses. And in these 5 senses, everything that's outside of us is perceived through a certain algorithm. So let's say that this box, which is our 5 senses, is the hardware. Right? So it's like you're probably watching this on some kind of device, on a computer or on your phone. So the actual phone itself, this is the hardware, right? The motherboard or the hard drive. That's the hardware. That's what we are. We are a substance, and our hardware is a will to receive. That's our hardware. That's what we are. That's what was created. A will to receive, period. Now, all of nature is a will to receive. But there is one fundamental difference that human beings have, and that is, it is also their only flaw, and it's also their biggest potential, our biggest potential. And that is how we use that hardware. So let's call that the software. And the reason why I'm calling it hardware software is because the hardware is constant, but the software is something that we can upgrade, we can reinstall, we can change, right? You can change your operating system on your computer. So the software we're currently using is the intention. You know what, let's just make it simple. The software we're using is egoistic intention. Self-fulfillment, and not only that, it's self-fulfillment on the expense of others. And this is something that's only in the human nature. Animals don't have this inclination to receive on the expense of others, with the intention to harm others. They act according to instinct. And through this instinct, then a lion might devour its prey, etc., but he's not doing it out of spite or out of an egoistic desire to cause harm for the sake of causing harm. And that's what human beings do. So that is the only thing that you need to change, Evara, in order to tune in. If you change this software from egoistic, meaning from a will to receive for yourself, if you change that to an action of bestowal, that switch of the hardware, it changes your entire perception. It actually, that is this construction of this sixth sense. So this sixth sense is the connection to the spiritual world. Just to give a simple example of how you can use the same hardware, and you can even do the same actions, but the intention of how you use them. So let's say the software is the intention. That's the software. So I always give this example. It's a bit gross, but still it clearly emphasizes. So imagine a knife cutting into flesh. Sounds terrible, especially if you don't like blood so much, like myself. So this grotesque kind of picture that you have in mind sounds really terrible. But it can be terrible if we're talking about someone that's causing harm to another person. But it can also be a remedy, a cure. It can be a doctor that's operating on someone in order to save their lives. So the action is the same action, but the intention that's clothed onto it, it changes everything. It changes the outcome, it changes the action itself, it changes the relationships between the one that does the action and the one that receives it. It changes everything.